Hello everybody, this is Steve O'Reilly and Gail Saunders with SkinnyPost TV. Today's daily question is, Joe Flacco the future of the Baltimore Ravens, and who is more important to the Ravens in their future, Flacco or Ray Rice? What do you think, Gail?
When I immediately think of Joe Flacco, I don't think franchise quarterback. I think great Baltimore defense, and I think that's really the future. But Joe Flacco, I mean, he's a great game manager. I just think, I mean, for his situation, he had his best game against the Patriots of the season. It was the last game of the season, but, you know, they should have won that game. I'm not going to blame anybody. Lee Evans, I'm not going to put him on the forefront, Lee Evans. But he should have made that catch. Could have made wonders for Flacco's contract situation. They had won that game. But I just have last year I think he regressed. You know, he's like, what was it, 57% completion rate, and he had his lowest number since his rookie year. So I mean, you want to see from your quarterback, you want to see progression, and then you know, we didn't really see that until the last game of the season. But I really think the key piece to the Baltimore offense is Ray Rice. I mean, that guy's almost 30% of the offense. There was like some crazy stat where he touched the ball a certain amount of times that they would get W's. I think that offense does not go without Ray Rice. Easily. That's why they're actually focusing on Ray Rice's contract over Joe Flacco's right now. So I think that's a good move. Get Ray Rice done.
I have to disagree with the latter part because this is a passing league, and the biggest predicator to wins in the NFL is your offensive pass success rate and your offensive passing efficiency. You can't run the ball to win anymore. I mean, it doesn't work. This is a league, where teams are putting up 40 and 45, 50 points. You know, you got Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, you know, Matt Stafford, you know, just great offenses. And without a quarterback that can throw the ball 35 to 45 times, you're just not going to win. Because when you get deep into the playoffs, you're going to go up against defenses that can shut down the run. Doesn't matter how good the running back is. And I'm not taking anything away from Ray Rice. He's a dynamic runner and a dynamic player. You know, he can do it all. But this is a quarterback league. It doesn't matter. You have to have a franchise quarterback. Look at the best teams with the best running backs. Chris Johnson, Adrian Peterson. How are those teams doing? Not too good because they don't have a quarterback.
But the question is, obviously, I believe that, you know, having a quarterback is important in this league. But now, if you're looking at the Ravens situation, you know, they're in a situation where they already have Flacco and they have Ray Rice. But you know, is Joe Flacco the future? Like,
yeah, I think he is. I mean, he's still young. He's not like he's 30, 35 years old. What is he, 26?
So you wouldn't think about maybe bringing another QB to challenge him?
Who? Quarterbacks don't grow on trees.
I'm just saying. What happens if, let's say, Tony Romo became? I'm just throwing out names. Like a Tony Romo became available next season.
He won't. The NFL is not predicated on guys that are. If you can throw the ball like a Tony Romo can, you're not going anywhere. Unless you're picking in the top 5 or top 10. And listen, unless you're picking in the top 5 or the top 10, you're not going to just find a great quarterback unless you get lucky. Unless somebody happens to fall and you have the ability to groom him like the Packers did. A great quarterback fell. They had a great quarterback in tow. They could let him grow for a couple of years. I mean, it's not like you can just pluck a guy. I mean, look at all the quarterbacks taken last year in the top 15 that aren't that good.
So now, if you're the Ravens front office and you have Joe Flacco sitting there without a contract, and if in fact they let him play out this rookie deal and go into next season
they can
and not give him another contract and say, you know what, we're going to franchise you. What does that say to Joe Flacco if they do in fact franchise him?
Well, I think that they are going to get a deal done with Flacco. I think that the Ravens are going to get a deal done with Flacco more than I think they're going to get a deal done with Ray Rice. I don't think they're going to give Ray Rice Adrian Peterson money.
Oh, he's not going to get AP money, but I think he's.
But that's what he wants. They've already offered him a pretty lucrative contract, and he turned it down. So Ray Rice wants to get paid. And the bottom line is, you can find good running backs much easier than you can find good quarterbacks. Bottom line. And let's be 100% honest. Since they brought in Anquan Bolden, the Ravens haven't been a plethora of wide receiving talent. And Anquan Bolden runs, what, a 4.7? That's what he ran at the Combine when he was a rookie, and now he's not any faster. So it's not like they got guys that are getting great separation up and down the board.
Torrey Smith is fast, but he's going to have a breakout year this year.
Okay, well, somebody's got to get him the ball then, and that would be Flacco. If you think he's going to have a breakout year, then you've got to have a great quarterback to get him the ball.
If you're a quarterback, you got to average more than 7 yards.
They took away his best weapon last year when Heap left town. Todd Heap was his security blanket.
Still, you can't be averaging 7 yards.
Because of the fact that this team, just like you said, okay, was predicated on great defense and running the football. They didn't turn it over. They had a quarterback that played smart and heady, and they got the passing yards when they needed to. They ran the ball. They stayed in tight, close 13-10 ball games against the Steelers, or 24-21 type ball games. Let their defense get a turnover, key stop, and then they went and won the game. That's how they play football. And look at what they did against the Patriots, just like you alluded to. It was right down to the wire, close ball game, went through the running game, went through a great defense. I mean, that formula does work. But if you take Joe Flacco out and you go and just bring in any Joe Schmo, that's not going to work. You have to have some threat of a passing game in this league now. And I think Flacco can be that guy. He just has to have more weapons around him at tight end, at wide receiver, not just one or 1B. You need 3 and 4. You need to have a New Orleans Saints type spread. Or
he did have some weapons before. He had Heap, Clayton, and Derek Mason.
And his numbers were better.
Interesting.
There you have it. Whoop, there
but is the QB the future?
Yes.
Yes?
And as long as they keep drafting at 27, 28, and 29, or wherever it is they are, that means they're doing pretty good. So why do you need to go out and try to get a guy that you get the franchise QB down the road when you're the Colts, or when you're the Redskins, or when you're the Dolphins, and you're down at the bottom. You're 4-12. You're 3-13. That's when you need to start worrying about your signal caller. Not when you were one catch away from the Super Bowl. Come on, Lee Evans holds on to that ball and doesn't let that rookie corner come in and swat it away. They're off to the big game.
And Ray Rice is less important than Joe Flacco to the Ravens offense this year.
No, he's not. But I'm saying that piece, that is a much more important piece to the way they run their offense, but that piece could be replaced. You could go, what if they made a trade for a Matt Forte or an Adrian Peterson or someone like that? They'd do the same thing. You'd put up the same numbers, the same offensive line blocking for them. I mean, you'd run for 1,200 to 1,500 yards, get 20-something touchdowns, and be the guy that they hand the ball to 30 times a game, 25 times a game. There's plenty of running backs that can do that, but it takes a team. And it's more, and one hit, that's what they say. You're always one hit away, but running backs see that one hit a lot more. So you don't see running backs. The value isn't there. The draft has proven it. Look at the draft, Gail. How many running backs you see taken in the first round of the draft? You saw one go early because the Browns are sold. Trent Richardson's the man, and the next one wasn't taken all the way until the Bucks traded up and got Doug Martin.
It's interesting. The Ravens actually even got Bernard Pierce from Temple, and maybe they're hoping that he is the guy to replace Ray Rice. But I don't know. It'll be interesting.
It is, and I've just heard from way too many NFL guys that I've talked to, and I've had this conversation numerous times with NFL players. And they all say the same thing, the same sentence: running backs are a dime a dozen. And I'm like, you're crazy. You get a guy like this, and they're like, running backs are a dime a dozen. Guys can just come in on. Look at the Cowboys. They go find DeMarco Murray. He wasn't a guy coming out of the draft that was that you have to have him. And then he comes into that system, fits it like a glove, and boom, you got a guy who's breaking Dallas Cowboy records. You can find running backs. And not saying that Ray Rice is, just replaceable, but he's more easily replaceable than Joe Flacco is, because quarterbacks are so hard to come by in this league. They just don't grow on trees.
Yeah, I'm not buying Flacco or the handlebar mustache.
There you have it. Well, I'm Steve O'Reilly. That's Gail Saunders, and we don't like the handlebar mustache, but half of us likes Joe Flacco. For SkinnyPost TV, we're giving you the skinny 24/7.